Brosplay!
Welcome back. I want to show you something. Look at this guy's fucking... See the things on the side of his head?
Are you talking about the...
I don't even know what they are.
See those.
But like from far away, it looks like his eyes. He looks like a big googly monster. He's like...
Oh, it does look like his eyes. Whoa.
Get out of my way, man. I'm just a friendly guy or whatever.
I'm just waddling here. Don't get on my way.
I just ramped that guy. Like with no problem.
Well, it's a pretty solid target. Oh, nice.
That's awesome. Anyway, yeah, there's actual, whatever, yellow guards.
Dijon guards.
Dijon guards. I think they're stronger or something.
They look stronger. They look menacing, man.
Ooh.
This is a no hover zone.
Just imagining them going home to their wife and kids, and he has like flashbacks and shit, and he wakes up in the middle of the night sweating, and he's just like, "This is a no hover zone," and he just tases his wife. And it's just like this huge issue, and he like goes to the therapist, and she's like, "Do you fucking help me out with this? What does he say to his therapist?"
What would he say to the therapist?
Yeah.
I just keep seeing that hover bike. It just keeps going up and down and up and down. The civilians are all screaming.
And the therapist is like, she's like, "Are you telling me that this sector is clear?" He just tases her.
Dude, I was playing Far Cry 2, and I shot a guard in the chest. He falls down, not dead, screaming. I shoot the guard next to him in the head. He dies. And then the third guard goes, "This is bullshit. We're just here guarding nothing."
Oh, fuck, that shit's so funny.
I really love voiceover lines at the wrong time. Oh, man.
These guys actually can't come back here. We don't want to break the illusion of our underground society.
Hey, you can't go around that corner. That's a secret society.
This is a no hover zone.
The cops are so corrupt that
they don't. Oh no. See,
would you say that you're
they're
torn about it?
That's a great example though of like show don't tell. Also look at his hair. I love how it shines in here.
You mean show don't tell about his emotion?
No, he just tells you that the Baron threatened Ashland instead of you showing us that happening.
I see. But also, I felt like that was pretty impactful because Torn is such an aggressive character that I feel like we kind of saw him reduced to nothing there.
Well, no, I don't have a problem with you having a reaction from him. What I'm saying is, for us to know that the Baron was willing to kill his own daughter, it should have happened in the cinematic and not through Torn telling us.
He didn't kill her, did he?
No, he just said he was threatening.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's threatening to kill her. Also, I didn't finish this statement about Mr. Robot. So, like, the cool thing about that show is that every season is sort of like a puzzle.
Hang on, I have this strong feeling that once this starts, you're not going to be able to stop. It's going to be one of those, like, something chases you. Maybe not. Anyways, continue about Mr. Robot.
Oh! That guy had, like, a bolt-action rifle. Oh!
Hey, buddy. So Mr. Robot?
Yeah, sorry. I actually, like, transitioned into Mr. Robot way too quickly. I totally agree with that. Anyway, each season is sort of like a puzzle. And they give you all the pieces for you to figure out what's really going on. You just don't know what the puzzle looks like, which is why it's so cool when you finally figure out what's happening. And both of the seasons I've watched have those elements in there. And it's like a new puzzle each time.
It is really cool when the puzzle pieces come together. That's a very good feeling.
Well, especially when the second one is a compounded story onto the last one. That tells a completely different style of story. Anyway, that was my finishing of my statement there. Also, Rami Malek is really fucking good. You would know him as the you don't want to do that guy from the Pacific.
Don't do that?
Yeah, that was a misquote from us way back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, he says you don't want to do that.
Oh, okay.
That's actually a beautiful scene. That the Pacific, by the way, is what we're talking about. It's really good at storytelling, visual storytelling too. There's very little like characters just saying how they feel, which kind of lines up with the mentality of soldiers back in 1945. they wouldn't have spent a lot of time talking about how sad they were. You would pretty much only know that from looking in their faces.
That's a good point. It would be written all over their faces too.
Actually, that's a line in the show. This one doctor says, "I don't know anything about." He said, "I don't know what the war is like," and he says, "Sure you do. You see it in every man who walks in here."
Yeah.
But anyway,
Jesus.
so like Eugene Sledge goes into the war.
I
kind
like
of
that you say it like that. That's totally not his last name.
Yeah, it is.
It is?
Yeah. They call him Sledgehammer because that's his last name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's been a while since I've watched that.
Yeah.
Apparently.
It's holy fuck, is that show ever good? It's just like, I've watched it so many times. Like each time, it's like, it's over. Eugene Sledge kind of goes like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed into the war, just thinking like, I'm going to do my part for the country, and just becomes so bitter when he gets there and realizes that they're like undermanned, undergunned, fucking constantly being like attacked and bombed and all that shit. And he has a part where he loses like a really important person to him in their squad or whatever. And to convey just how important that character was, he decides to go and do something that he had seen many soldiers do, which is rip the gold teeth out of dead soldiers.
Oh.
Yeah, so his friend, played by Rami Malek, does that like the first time he meets him before Rami likes him. And so now Sledge is... It's supposed to like represent that Sledge is now at the point where he's like... he is... what's it called? Like adapted to what everybody else is doing. And he's kind of like...
desensitized
he's
to it.
descended would be the right word.
His descent into savagery, is that what you're talking about?
I mean, just into darkness, I guess. But Rami's like, he's like, you don't want to do that. And he's like, why not? And he's like, tears in his eye. What the fuck's going on? Ah!
They're above you.
Oh, I guess I'm supposed to be doing this.
They're above us.
What is going on? You guys are in a weird spot.
The enemy's on the roof. The enemy's on the roof.
Whoa. Fuck off. No.
Oh no. So why does he tell him not to do it?
Well, what the character is not saying is that really why he's telling him not to do that is because once you've done that, you just can't come back from it. But what he tells him is that there's germs, bad germs, make you real sick. And then the Sledge just stands there like ready to tear up, and he's like, well, can I tear off his insignia? He's like, no harm in that.
I mean, off of his uniform?
Yeah. So it's just like it's a beautiful scene because what's happening is not is like what they're talking about is not what's happening. You're really distracting me, by the way, over there with your hand movements.
Oh. She's not distracting you? I think her character's hilarious.
She is?
Yeah, like her and Daxter's relationship. Is this a young and an old version of Samos?
Yes.
Oh, that's the old one. How long is...
Dude, he's got a fro because he's young. It's the 70s, bro.
That's awesome. I thought that was the old one, the one with the fro.
Yeah, and then the old one has grown his stump and lost his moss.
And his beard is way bigger. This would totally happen if anyone met a clone of themselves.
Their eyes... Did you notice that their eyes were they matched? Like, their expressions in their eyes, Daxter and Jack, were moving
the same?
at the same time, yeah. That's a great example of visual storytelling. Anyway, I'm done with this.
Yeah, that was enough. That was good.
Boop, 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 boop. Da-da-da, boop, doot, goop, boop. Ba-da-da, boop, goot, goop, boop. Thank you. Also, something that I was... I don't know. Do I toot my own horn very often? But
I don't know. Either way, go for it.
I just really liked... I was just watching the Bloodstained episodes, and there's a part where I would try to remember a name of something, and I stopped the character's movements both times when I said wait, and then I started moving when I came up with it, and then stopped again, and I was just really proud of that. It was just... I laughed... I like didn't really think it was that funny when I did it, and then when I was watching it later, I was like, oh, that's pretty funny.
Sometimes it is little stuff like that. I was editing the God of War episodes, and there's one scene where you're at a sliver of health, maybe 1%, maybe even less, and you're standing there because you just want him to kill you. You're just waiting to die. And then right as he's about to attack you, you like roll out of the position and go to attack him, and you're like, ha! like I was lying in wait for you the whole time.
That's funny.
It's the simple things that you don't even think about at the time. What's unusual is that you always remember the bad associations over the good associations.
Oh, absolutely. I was just watching old Doom episodes because we kind of got Christmas 2017. We got completely off track the Brosplay uploading schedule, and like everything just kind of fell apart, and we just kind of forgot about episodes that hadn't been out since like November of that year, and we're now releasing them in July of the next year. So I'm watching Doom, which is like 8 months old and not released yet, and it's like a completely different time of my life, and like I had like different thoughts and feelings and all that shit, and it was like
we weren't as good.
I even said in the episode that I was tired.
You still do that.
I know I still do that, but it's a joke now. Like we recognize the issue with saying that, whereas back then that was like I was like considering it a legit reason to not be as like on my game as I should be, you know?
Oh yeah, there's no excuse. What do you always say, bro?
If it doesn't work, don't do it.
Yeah, if it doesn't work, don't do it, man. So if you're too tired, don't do it.
If you're gonna die, fall flat with your rodent.
It looks like he fell off a 30-story building the way he's all sprawled out.
Oh yeah, he's splatted.
You got splattered. It'd be nice if you could get a different vehicle. One that could take a little more punishment.
You can.
I guess you can. It would be nice if you had a different
It's an
vehicle.
open world.
This game gives you so much option. That's why it's a no hover zone, because it's a danger to the people around you. Even though you're not going to run them over, you're still going to hit them with your car. Isn't that obvious to you?
If Childish Gambino showed up somewhere and they told him he wasn't allowed in, would it be a no Glover zone?
Oh, I think it would be. I just realized, do you think that the roads are all super shitty like they are because the cars don't have to drive on them anymore? So they haven't been maintained in like 20 years?
Well, the roads are really nice in the rich part of town.
That is a very good point. But in the rich part of town, they're like made out of metal. The roads are just like they look like the inside of a computer.
That's interesting. Oh,
that didn't last for very long.
Oh, that's right. You can get rid underneath them.
Oh yeah, and they can't do anything with that big laser. Oh, that's so epic. You just got to get out of here when they... Are you hitting him with those? Yeah, you are, for sure. Oh, he's coming down anytime now. Anytime now. Yep. Nice! That was such a sick exit.
Thank you. The camera could barely keep up with me. I love... That was almost Christopher Walken there. I love how their blaster rounds affect the vehicle.
Effect is in how they damage it?
Yeah, like he like put it's like a knockback. He like pushed me into the wall there.
There's one weird thing about the blasters in this. Oh. You actually massacred those first two guards that you hit. That was awesome. I can't believe how far that first one went. I really like physics in games because it's so exaggerated. That maybe one of my favorite aspects of video games is how physics sort of works but doesn't. Sometimes it's perfect, but when it's off... You remember playing Dark Messiah?
I do,
the
actually.
Physics in that game with kicking people is hilarious. So is the sound when...
Oh, right! I forgot about that.
When you kick somebody off the edge in Dark Messiah, they might make the most comical laughing noise in any video game.
And you're like, ah!
It's, no, so we kicked someone off a tiny stairwell. It was maybe 6 feet down. And they just went, wow! Like... as loud as you can possibly scream. Oh
yep,
no.
I failed.
I thought I recognized where we were. Oh no.
It was playing the sad music and the bow 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 sound. Which is probably supposed to mimic sirens because it gives you that sense of like panic.
Maybe. Maybe.
So 2 are together and one's on its own.
Where are you? Oh, I see where you are.
I'm up there.
You definitely have to go for the pair.
That's what I was thinking.
Because the other guy has to go up and then down, and I think last time you went to him first. Also, I think whoever you fight first, just take out the Vulcan and empty it.
Okay.
Well, fuck, it's not very many bullets, but either way,
it's decent.
empty out the Vulcan, and then from there you can figure out what you have to do and potentially pick up more ammo. Good call getting rid of the vehicle. It does not seem to be particularly useful to you.
I don't know if this thing can quite go for me.
On the ground, I feel like it can. It's trying.
Oh, wow, this is a superior option.
Yeah, just
Wow.
done. And
Yeah,
then
that
this
was,
guy, well, it was actually good that you were getting hits on him before you went over there, though. The Vulcan has a tendency to be somewhat inaccurate at range.
Does it?
Well, it's, I find it doesn't pinpoint enemies as well, and I think it's because it's supposed to be a spray and pray weapon, whereas the blaster is meant to hit specific targets at long range, so I just find it's more intuitive,
Oh,
I guess.
yes!
That was, oh man, it's actually gunning it down. That's fantastic.
Whoa, hello.
Its death beam is hilarious. Vrrt, vrrt, just wasting the landscape. It reminds me of War of the Worlds.
Oh, that was a really, like, the first time that you see the alien ship.
Yeah, when it powders all those people and he comes home covered in their ashes.
Yeah.
That may be one of the darkest scenes in the whole movie.
And everyone's like, what is it? Just like gather around everybody, and it's just like, zoom, 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 zoom.
Yeah.
People are just disappearing. It's fucked up.
Other than the tremendous inaccuracies that exist between... Oh, fuck, I should read War of the Worlds. I'm just thinking about that now.
Orson Welles.
Orson Welles, yeah.
The story's so convincing that the people actually believed it was happening.
But that's actually... Or no, sorry. Yeah. Orson Welles wrote the book, and then H.G. Wells
Oh, really?
did... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was two different guys.
Connected, though? Do they know each other?
I don't
Seems like quite a coincidence.
think so. Shit, okay, I'll brush up on the story before the A discussion, I swear. But other than all the horrible inaccuracies in that movie, I really like that movie. I really like the whole scene with Tim Robbins in the basement.
Oh, so good.
And Dakota Fanning does a great job playing his daughter.
Oh, Dakota's a really good actor.
Yeah, well, and in the way she plays the character and how she already has, like, issues with claustrophobia, and I just felt like it was a really... You know what? I liked it for the same reason I liked No Escape with Owen Wilson. And it's
I
because
have not seen that.
Dude, it scared the shit out of me. Because this guy takes a job as an engineer in a third world country, and then as soon as he shows up, the country goes into civil unrest because his company is there, like meddling in their country. So now him and his wife have to try and escape from this country, which is locked in a civil war, and they have 2 young daughters with them.
That is a very similar story to an episode of The Unit, where they have to get all these people out of a consulate.
Yeah, but now imagine you don't have any super badass dudes there. Well, I mean, Pierce Brosnan is in it, and he's a pretty badass dude.
Well,
But
sorry, go ahead.
the first scene when he's trying to get them out of the hotel, and there's a fucking tank that rolls up and, like, blasts off part of the building, and he's trying to get them out of there, and he has to, like, throw one of them across the building to another building. It's nuts. It's so hard to watch. It's so tense.
There's an episode, in that episode, they end up in the middle of a minefield, and one of the women gets blinded from a mine, so she's blind, trying to walk through a minefield in a row with everybody else, and so they're stuck there, while 2 of the guys are watching from the other side. So the fact that they have tough guys there isn't really helpful.
Yeah.
I went right by the wrench.
Doesn't
by the
change
way.
anything.
I was trying to go for the wrench, and I just
Oh,
forgot what I was doing.
too late.
Like, fucking Bob Brown, like, just mucks, like, 6 dudes in a row, but it doesn't matter, because these people are stuck in a minefield. That's the real threat in that episode.
Yeah, man.
And also, holy fuck, some of the best lines come out of that episode. So, there's this guy, and he's like the director of whatever, and they hate him, because he just doesn't give a shit about the lives of the people he sends in. And so he happens to be with them on a plane traveling somewhere when they get the call to go and get those people out of there. And he's like, you can't stay in the plane. He's like, this plane's not going to the right place, so you have to come with us.
Oh.
So this director asshole has to go into actual combat after he spent how long saying that he's, I've seen combat, I've been to combat.
Oh man, and he's just full of shit.
And he is full of shit. And there's a part where Bob gives him a gun, and he says, "This is the safety." He says, "Here's the safety. If you shoot one of us, it's not called friendly fire. It's murder, and for that, we'll kill you."
Oh.
I fucking love that show, man.
Oh man,
some of the best lines in any show.
It's no longer on Netflix, is it?
It's not. I don't think it's anywhere but Hulu.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hulu.
Yeah.
Who?
That like having to protect innocence is part of why War of the Worlds I found was so gripping, because he's got his daughter and then like his son goes running off, and
that really bugs me though, the way his son disappears and shows up at the end of the film with no explanation as to what happened.
Yeah, well, that's why I said despite all of the horrible inaccuracies and ultimately just bad parts of the movie. Oh yeah, the aliens came here and probably canvassed this place for thousands of years, to the point where they actually planted these alien spaceships under the ground with the intention of putting pilots into them, and yet somehow did not analyze the water nor try it on anyone to see if they could actually live on our water.
Which is actually pretty much the only reason why you would even want Earth. Is for the water.
Yeah.
Because all of the other minerals are fucking everywhere in the solar system and the universe.
Water and biological life are the only two things that are super unique about our planet. In fact, if you want minerals, you go to an asteroid. Because all of the minerals on Earth are covered over with like water and trees and bullshit that you don't really need.
Look at these Brooklyn stereotypes.
That guy sounds so stingy. I got 30 pounds of steak strapped to my back. Do you need a bomb? Do you need explosion? You need boom? One thing I have noticed working with people who don't speak English, or at least don't speak English particularly well, is they use a lot more colloquial terms, I find, because it's just simpler. So, I work in construction, so we put a lot of rebar into concrete, and so, if I said, "Hey, I need you to add another piece of rebar over here," they'd kind of look at me funny. But if I said it needs one more steel, they'd go, "Oh yeah, okay, one more steel," and they put it in place. So you just have to kind of know what they call it, because that's the important part.
Have you ever just like yelled louder at them because volume was the issue and not a misunderstanding of the language? No, in fact, usually it's contractors yelling, and it scares the fuck out of me because I have earplugs in, and then all of a sudden you hear and you're turning around and you're thinking, man, someone's under a piece of equipment, someone just got hit by something, but no, they're just behind, they're just yelling at a guy. Have you ever just told them to speak English? Because that usually goes pretty well. I think I would get hit in the head with a shovel so fast, I wouldn't even know what to do. Yeah, you try and be respectful. I think it's like anything. If you work in fast food, you should try and be cooperative with customers so you can get them what they want. If you work in graphic design, you should be cooperative with clients. And in my business, you got to be cooperative with your contractors. Yeah, every so often I had to try to take a pizza order for someone who barely spoke English, and it was just like, you just like bring it down to like the basics, right? Instead of like saying specific types of meat, you're just like, meat, and they're like, yeah. Well, yeah, and also don't force them to be overly specific if they're not able to be. But I also did like, I would use like shapes with my hands and shit. Yeah, you hear that, brother? Shut your whiny trap. There's a guy who was like asking for slices, but he didn't really understand what I was saying, and so I was like, I like shaped it out with my hands, like sign language. I was like, no slice, only whole pizza, like, but while I like did a circle with my hands. Yeah. He was like, okay, thanks. Yeah. Just because someone doesn't speak the language doesn't mean they're dumb. It absolutely not. Just means they don't speak the language. In fact, the dumb thing is believing that there's something wrong with their intelligence because they don't understand you. Yeah, seriously. That's actually the dumb part. You wouldn't understand them if they were speaking a language that they know. Turn around. Like, people who think that they have to yell, it's like, yeah, man, that was the problem. It just, every language is at a different volume, and you're at the wrong one. Like, come on, man.
So, yeah, people always think that the strategy is increase volume, reduce speed, increase clarity. But really what you should do is take 2 seconds, think about whether the wording made sense, and then if the wording needs to be changed, change it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, just try and say it. I think slowly is good. More slowly and more concise is good.
Yeah.
But loudly does never help. Like,
And also often I remove like I was saying, like whole pizza, just like removing like unnecessary words that we use to make sentences flow that we don't really need.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's not a skill, but it is something that you do have to work at. Man, these guys talk way too much.
Yeah, they need to shut.
They're actually they're really starting to annoy me. Shut up, Marv. I wonder if that's supposed to be a call out to Home Alone. Because that guy kind of sounds like Joe Pesci, and Marv is the other wet bandit.
But Marv doesn't have like a doofy voice though. Marv just has less of a.
Marv's just a creep.
Yeah. Speaking of voices, I've discovered a new voice that I really like.
I've got a new thing. Sticky bandits.
And he just gets like a bunch of change from like a Santa Claus.
Yeah, he covers his hand in tape so he can steal pocket change. Oh my god. The sticky bandits. You know why they're called the wet bandits, right?
Because they flood people's homes.
Yeah, they turn on the sink in the basement to flood the people's house. It's such a dick move. Marv is such an asshole.
But don't they do that so that the
oh my god!
Shit.
He got so pissy. He said,
I'm pretty sure they flooded their houses so that they would leave, giving them more time to. Yeah.
Huh.
I could be wrong about that.
I thought Marv just liked to do it. I thought Joe Pesci's character even gave him trouble for it. He was like, I'm going to go to the basement. And he's like, why do you got to do that everywhere we go? And he said it's our calling sign.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. I was too young to understand.
Marv is just a fucking dick. He really is.
Yeah.
But you know what? Well, I mean, they're both dicks, really. I do like those movies, though. The first two, I find them fantastic.
3 was pretty good, wasn't it?
3 was just weird because it was a different kid and it had a different vibe.
Well, yeah, the first one made a little more sense because it was quite a circumstance to happen for this kid to find himself in this situation.
Yeah, and it made sense. There was, a ton of people in the family and somehow he got left home.
Well, he got left home because he felt, I think, okay, he wets the bed, which is why he has his separate room. Yeah.
The other kid wets the bed. That's why he couldn't sleep with the other
kid.
Okay. And especially because he's like, but he wets the bed, and then he looks over at him, and he's just slurping from this giant can of Coke.
With his glasses are like half the size of his face.
Yeah, it's a great movie, man. I think the first two were much more real. They had more of an element of real danger in them.
Huh.
Whereas the third one felt a little more hokey, a little more kid-oriented.
Oh, yeah, it was like RC cars and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
All right, thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
Next
okay.
time, more bombs, more explosions.
Keep moving. We go down.